What is up, everybody? DanDanTheFireman here. We're going to be watching some crashes and close calls, utilizing the plan method, and a lot of the stuff that I teach here. So this is an educational video. We're going to try to figure out how this happens so we don't do it ourselves.
Today I've got another intense
Here we
video
go.
for you. I hope all of you will learn something from this situation. So check this out.
So we're making through the corners, having some fun. What's going to happen here? It's probably going to be a low side. Oh, there it is. Looks like we hit something. You see how the jostling of the bike? Now, typically that's going to happen with a road surface hazard, or we applied too much front brake. So good job rescuing yourself, getting off on the side of the road. There's some damage to the knee. That is exactly where we have gear. Okay, so we have armor on our knees. Hopefully you have some that are on your hip. But then we have like aramid fibers, like Kevlar, and a few other things on these motorcycle jeans. So good job, good boots, everything. So part of being a smart rider is acquiring and using personal protective equipment just in case something happens. Okay, that's a big thing here. It's like you don't want to buy a car without any seatbelts. So it's kind of the same thing. So let's see what happened here. I'm going to keep an eye on that front brake. If we can see it during this incident, and I can't. So there's a little bit of a impact. I wonder if we hit a road surface hazard. So if it was a road surface hazard, that's something that we can't really control if we just hit it because we're so focused on making it through the turn. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can avoid it, sometimes you can't. Okay, what you can control in this situation, if it was his front brake and he was going too fast in the corners, like, oh crap, panic, and we apply the front brake, it can do that. That's something we can control. So if you're going too fast in a corner, just go ahead and roll off the throttle. You're going to get some engine braking and really focus with some intent to make it through that corner. If you can, try some progressive braking, some easy trail braking, basically. Another thing that you can do before going too fast into the corner is slow it down before the corner. Okay, that's going to be something that we can easily control. So there's a little bit of a jostling. It's going to mess you up a little bit in the middle of the corner. Maybe you panic a little bit, then you apply the brakes. Maybe you accidentally gave it, you just rolled off really hard and applied the brakes or whatever it was. You can't see his hands maneuvering the primary controls, but then we dumped the bike. So the reason why the left knee is all damaged because we fell to the left side. So we talk about mechanism of injury here. So we put our knee down, ripped everything up, but hopefully the armor protected the knee. Once you crash and you're like in the road, so part of rescuing, after a motorcycle crash is ensure your own safety. And so what you can do, or what you should be doing, is trying to get yourself, if you're, aware, you don't have like concussion and knocked out, is that you can move over to the side of the road because you don't want to get hit by any other vehicles. Leave the bike. So good job. A little bit of a panic. Maybe some pain, but you got full gear. Actually, I want to see that foot, how it's laying down. Okay, he's just moving it down. So usually when I see something like that and like the feet are turned or like a little bit elongated, that's a hip issue, but looks like he's just setting his foot down. All right, let's move on to this one. Let's see what happens here. We're lane splitting.
Oh, darling.
Oh, up and over. Okay, so why did we switch lanes?
Oh, darling.
So it looks like, okay, so that car was making a shift to the right lane. So we're like, oh crap, we have to do an emergency maneuver. So we have to go into red stage and we have to swerve. This can happen, especially with lane filtering, because there's not much you have. Because you can't swerve left right here, can't swerve right because of the cars. Maybe we're going a little too fast for the area. So if all the cars are stopped, just go 10, 15 miles an hour over them. So if they're stopped, you're going 15 miles an hour. If we're going like 40, it's going to be pretty difficult to do an emergency swerve. So if you're going to do a swerve, make sure you swerve hard. Okay, swerve hard, aim for that escape path over on the left side. Don't just kind of half do it, because when you do half do it, this is kind of what happens. So we do have gear. So thankfully, he has gear. Hopefully his back is doing fine because he's up and over. Oh, a little impact. Okay, looks like, ooh, that doesn't look good. Let's go take a look at that real quick. So we're in our lane. We'll edit right there. Let's see. So there's the white line. Oh, we switched lanes. So we're in the right lane. See, there's the edit. I was wondering what was happening there. So we're in the right lane. We switch over to the left lane into that car. We kind of did that. Maybe they were going fast and we didn't see that, and we switched lanes, but it didn't look like we did a head check and everything. So make sure you guys do your head check. So it's real quick. You're looking forward. You want to switch lanes. You look in your left mirror. You do a quick head check, and that head check can sometimes be like, oh crap, there's a car there, and you have to kind of swerve back in your lane. So do that head. Make sure you do that head check. 360 situation awareness on that, so we don't accidentally clip a car, because you could see a car coming up pretty fast. So checking his left hip. That's where some pain is because he fell down. So we talk about mechanism injury a little bit right there. Oh, car coming out, and we dump the bike head first into the other car. So the reason why the bike fell down like that is because we slammed that front brake. It lost traction because it locked up, and then now it's sliding. Instead of rolling, it locks up and slides. And when it does that, tires are a little concave like that. So it's going to go ahead and rotate in. You're going to fall down. So let's take a look at that real quick. What could we have done differently? We had an escape. You really got to go for it. You really got to go for that escape. Okay? Got to go for it. Or apply the brakes progressively, not slamming those front brakes, especially without any gloves, because then you have that. So you have abrasions all over the hand, and then the head and your back compresses like that. So your cervical spine is going to be pretty damaged. Hopefully he's doing fine. So that's the whole I had to layer down thing. It's because the car pulls out. You slam that front brakes, you dump the bike. Okay. And it's a rear rock. Okay, so he's walking. That's good. That's a good thing. So find those escape paths. Go for them. Go a little bit easier on high traffic areas like that. Oh, I love having the GPS like that.
That caught off this rider by surprise. Even
Okay.
though we tried to
Nice and easy.
as carefully as possible, it didn't go as planned.
Are we gonna go off? Oh, so with that, don't apply the brakes going into that. Let's see what he does with his right hand. No, he didn't apply the brakes. He slowed down beforehand. Just go ahead and power through it. Go nice and easy, but give it a little bit of speed. It could have moss all over it, so it could be slippery. Looks like 2 of you guys crashed, so it could have been some kind of road surface hazard like moss. Pretty crappy situation. I would let one person go first, and then I would check. Yeah, they're in the front of the group, so everyone else can be like, what are we going to do here? Yeah, pretty weird situation. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty muddy and mossy. So it's almost like riding on ice. So how do you do that? You go pull in the clutch and just kind of coast through, but have some speed. Have some speed, because if you give it throttle and you have that the slippery stuff like ice or moss, that rear tire is going to spin. You're going to start losing control. So just go ahead and coast right through it. Okay, here we go. Having some fun. Oh, right shoulder. What happened? So our foot got caught. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're leaning much, but you can see the peg kind of scraping already. So our foot caught. Oh no, it didn't. He was starting to fall in. His peg was scraping, and he decided to put his foot down. And this is why I tell you guys to keep your feet on the pegs, because when you put your foot down, it's going to grab. Okay, you got rubber on the bottom of your feet, on the bottom of your shoes. It's going to grab, it's going to sling you all the way back like that, and it's going to really mess you up. So keep your foot on the pegs, keep your bike as upright as possible. Do some counter leaning. Oof. All right. In the middle of the road. Okay. Oh. I don't like it when people do that. Good job with the emergency progressive braking. Okay. So good job with this. We have a good space cushion right now. He's getting up to here. He sees them apply the brakes. It's like, what is this? So that's going to give you that uncommon thing in a common situation. So part of planning your ride is that you were in a good position for space cushion. You're locating hazardous situations. You see this person do this. You're assessing if it's a relevant threat. And the moment they really stop, they became an active threat. You see he's reaching for his front brake. Progressive braking. If we're speeding, if we're this close originally, we would have hit them. So good job with the space cushion. So keep it in mind. You want to maintain a space cushion for idiots like this. Shouldn't have done that in the first place. You don't have to do a U-turn to do that. right, what are we gonna do? A wheelie?
Oh, bingo, I got
There it is. We're gonna go a little too high. Nope, lost balance.
Oh,
And then we crash into the bike too.
Express. Oh my God, pimp down, pimp in express. I need a.
Not good. I'm gonna go ahead and mute that. I don't really care about the sound. So it looks like he's walking wounded. That's pretty good. Hey, how about you guys doing do wheelies? I don't know. Close call with the deer. That happens in areas like this, so be very careful. Not much you can do. They come out randomly. Okay, if there's one, there's going to be possibly others. So when you have a close call like that, just be aware, hey, there's going to be some deer. Maybe not speed too much. That way, if I have to, I can do emergency braking or swerve. Oh, buddy crashed. Don't crash with him. So when it comes to that, how do you rescue somebody like this? Okay, so first, it's around a corner. Not the greatest. So if you are with a group ride, talk on your cardos. There's a link in the description for 10% off if you want to grab one. Talk to them. Say, hey, our buddy just crashed. I'm going to park, and I'm going to go ahead and remain calm. Call 911 if I have to, but I'm going to ensure my own safety. So I'm going to have somebody go around the corner that way and be like, hey, this is your job right here. Just to tell people that are coming around that corner, slow down, because there's somebody on the road or there's debris or a motorcycle, whatever it is. Slow the traffic, because when they come around that corner, they're not going to be able to see you because you're around that corner. They're going to either slam the brakes or run into you. So that's part of ensuring your own safety. Now, if they're bleeding out, you can apply, a tourniquet. We do have 30% off until January 4th for anything in the store. This is the rescue pack. We don't have very many of these left. But you have roll gauze, 5x9s, tourniquets, stuff to pack the wound. And it also comes with a rescue card inside. So the card that you see on the screen, you can also do that. It tells you what to do. So you can focus on that. Here's the back side of the card, so you know what head injury symptoms look like, spinal cord injury. Basically, at the end of the day, you can only lay him down, stop any external bleeding. That's my only concern at that point. If he gets up, that's great. Means less damage.
The road conditions were pretty rough.
Snowman.
Was a big bump in the
Okay.
coast.
Roundabouts are definitely going to be an orange stage. We're kind of prepared for anything. Don't know what happened there. Let's take a look.
Control of his bike.
Oh, it looks like there's a little bit of oil on the ground, maybe. You see that marking right there? Did we hit that bump? No, we hit something. We hit oil, maybe some rainwater that caught up there. That road is preventing runoff, so it's probably accumulating oil and water, and then we crashed the bike. So try to avoid anything that looks different on the road. Wheelies probably are worth the risk if you have the skill, because you have... I wonder what that noise is. Oh, it's probably the alarm. Because you get like this adrenaline, you get this fun, you get to practice your skill. But for me, since I don't have that skill and I'm not really concerned about having it, it's not worth it to me to try it. All right, let's see what happens here. Oh, lots of cops, a little mob ride. Everyone's trying to get through that little gap. Everyone found an escape, except for this person. Got impacted. Oh, you're going to be caught now. So big mob ride like this, not worth it. Not worth it to me. I'm going to ride with maybe one other friend, or if it's a group ride, it's going to be a charity ride where it's nice and chill, nice and slow. Everyone's staggered. Not worth it to me. You're going to have issues like this. Amazingly enough, he was able to outrun the cop. But if his bike is registered, tagged, and all that stuff to his home address, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. He could just deny that it wasn't him riding, but... All right, so we're going through here. I love having GPS navigation. We have the side of the vehicle. They're taking their sweet time to get to that left turn lane. Good job. So when we talk about positioning for safety, the plan method, this is what I teach. This is the main curriculum when it comes to riding a motorcycle safely, is that you are constantly looking for a position for safety. And what that means is that you have a space cushion, good line of sight, and at least one escape path. If you don't have an escape path where you're riding, you're in a terrible spot. That means you can't do much. I like to have two, because 2 is 1, 1 is none, right? If one gets taken away from you, you at least have a backup. So let's bring that back up here. We're also locating hazardous situations, typically intersections, corners, when you're side by side of the vehicle in a blind spot. These are hazardous situations, but you also have to assess if it is a relevant threat. So what that means is that if you see, like, if you're side by side with a vehicle, but they're not really coming into your lane, they're not really a relevant threat until they become an active one, but it's a possibility that they are. So you're gonna have to navigate these active threats. Let's bring that back up one more time. So you're gonna have to navigate active threats with a swerve, emergency braking, maybe even emergency acceleration to get yourself back into a brand new position for safety. Then once again, that position for safety is a good space cushion around you, a good line of sight so you can see what's ahead of you, and then also having that escape path. So you're constantly rotating through all these things. And this is part of the MTC awareness stages where yellow stage, you're zoned in, just kind of riding, having a good time. You're focused and paying attention. Orange stage is when you see those intersections, you see those corners coming up, you see that there's something happening when it comes to like an open lane pattern side of the vehicle and a bunch of other patterns that we talk about. And then red stage, you're gonna have to actually do something about it. White stage, you're zoned out, not paying attention. You're talking on the phone or you're looking at your phone. Brown stage, you completely failed in your maneuvers. So you either have a close call or you have a crash. So right here, what we see is we see that side of the vehicle. Right now, if we're going to apply the plan method, we have good line of sight, good escape paths to the left. We can accelerate, we can apply the brakes. Hazardous situation, intersections coming up, people possibly coming out at you. You see the side of the vehicle already. They're not in your lane, but they're pointed at your lane. So it's possibly a relevant threat. So at this point, what I'm doing is rolling off the throttle just so I can buy myself some time, kind of get like, what's happening here? And if it becomes an active threat, I'm already prepped for a swerve or a brake. So right here, their inner lane, you see him starting to use the horn to kind of get their attention. I don't like using horns or rev bombing just because people can't hear it. They're not even looking anyways. So right now I'm looking at the escape path I already prepped for, which is the left side. I can also swerve right. Doesn't look like there's as many cars. I can also apply some really good progressive braking and stop in time if I wasn't speeding or going too fast, or I can apply some brakes and then maneuver into an escape path because when I'm applying the brakes, it's buying me some time to make better decisions. So we're coming up to here. So he slowed down a little bit. He may be downshifting a little bit. He sees that this person's in their lane. They're kind of slow. They're not gunning it through. So right now we have an escape path to the left. So that's what he's doing, putting himself in a brand new position for safety. Okay. So good job with the swerve. Found the escape. New position for safety. Now we're in the left turn lane. We want to go straight. We're going to do a quick head check. We're going to go straight. We're going through the intersection. And now we're redoing the plan method. We're in a new position for safety. Good escape paths up in front, maybe to the right. We have good line of sight, good everything. We're going to locate the next hazardous situation. We're going to assess the next relevant threat. And then we're going to navigate the next one. It's just this constant rotation in this pattern. So good job on swerving. Let's see what happens here. The same person. So we're kind of getting boxed in. Not a big deal. Maintain that space cushion. Watch out. Anybody wants to come into our lane. Right there. Once they cross over those, cross over the dotted lines or the slotted lines or whatever you want to call them. Once they get into our lane, at this point, we can roll off the throttle. Or, if we're feeling lucky, we can accelerate as an escape path. So we can decelerate by using engine braking or applying progressive braking, or we can accelerate out. So we have two escape paths here easily. Swerving right, not going to work. Swerving left's not going to work. We got to do something, though, because we're now in a bad position for safety. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to lane split. So don't fight for spots, but got himself out of there. Recognized that was the situation. We moved over, new position. Oh, a little bit of a speed wobble here. Maybe we landed a wheelie wrong, hit one of the reflectors in between these slotted lines, going too fast. We're going 70 now. Maybe we were going 100 before that happened. I got very lucky. The bike stabilized itself.
Completely ignore the signs and
Side of the vehicle.
of hitting the rider. Luckily, that has nothing more than a valuable lesson.
Okay. So this is why using your head checks and your mirrors are important. If your mirrors are like that, it's going to be kind of hard to see. He does have the convex mirrors or those mirrors that will kind of give you a bigger view, but have those mirrors down so you can see a little bit better. Do a head check before you switch over like that. So now he did a head check. There we go, going through here. Okay, somebody's pulling over, got close to you. They need to stay in their lane. So you either accelerate out or apply the brakes. Let them take the lane. They're going to win. They're going to win. All right, it's Christmas time. Somebody's, once again, switching into our lanes. We are staggered right here. We can apply the brakes, or we can roll up the throttle, let them in. Or, if you're feeling it, accelerate through, but that's a little bit more dangerous because they might close off your escape. Using a Cardo right there. Very nice. Once again, 30% off in my store, 10% off discount at Cardo. Links in description. Hey, there's a deer. Good job slowing it down, seeing what they're going to do, and then we're going to go ahead and accelerate out of here.
This next step is a reminder that public roads aren't racetrack and pushing our limits in heavy traffic is never a smart move.
Exactly. Oh. Good job with the braking, though. Exactly, Motostars. Public roads are not a personal racetrack.
And pushing our limits in heavy traffic is never
What happened
a
to
smart
him?
move.
Oh, hit a rock. You see that? So he hit something. So on a racetrack or a track day, you're not going to have to deal with that a lot. And if you did, for some random reason, you have a nice little runoff. So he either slammed the brakes or hit a rock. I think he hit a rock because that happened real quick. I'm trying to see if I can catch the rock on the... I won't be able to. So he's up and over, slipping and sliding and everything. But when it comes down to the rider that we're using with the point of view, good job with the braking. Good job with the braking. Hopefully he's doing fine. But yeah, road surface hazards when you're speeding like that, not good. He's leaking out some green fluids. Got a little antifreeze, some coolant. Stop signs are considered yield signs while on bikes, okay? I don't think it is. That's called a high side. So he started losing traction, gained traction, flipped him up and over. So stop signs are still stop signs. So be careful. Just because it's on an e-bike doesn't mean that you can't do that. There's power to that rear wheel. You're on bicycle tires, not motorcycle tires. Ooh, uncommon thing in a common situation. The uncommon thing is you have headlights in your lane. The common situation, you're just riding. So if you see headlights in your lane like this, we're coming around a corner. So position yourself because you don't have a lot of room. They're going to take up a whole bunch, right? They're going to take up like this whole room. So aim for this area as best you can. And it's easier to do that when you're going the speed limit or a little bit slower. So you might want to roll up the throttle, wear some gear, wear some gloves. Horn doesn't work as much. They don't really care. They knew what they did. All right, so we're riding with, it's a nice little group ride. Same situation. You see, naturally you do it. We're in the left side of the lane, right? Naturally you do this, but I want you to be more aware of it because on situations where you just kind of naturally move over the lane, in an emergency situation, in a crisis scenario, you're either going to freeze or act. And I want you to start acting. And the only reason why you start freezing on some of these crisis scenarios where you have to swerve hard is because you don't have the training. So if you have training in your swerves, your emergency braking, your emergency acceleration, and you actually practice it, I like to go when I'm out on the road and I see a manhole cover in the middle of my lane, about 100 feet ahead, I aim straight for it and then quickly swerve around it. And that's just practice here and there. Now, cops might think you're being a little dangerous and you're reckless and you're driving, whatever. Just, if you get pulled over, be like, hey, I'm practicing. I saw a manhole cover, saw it last second, switched over. I didn't want to get hit. I like to do that for every now and then. But if you notice, naturally, we're in the left lane, sees the vehicle, applies some brakes, and is in a new position for safety. So naturally, this happened. I just want you to be aware of it. Just be aware of it. Use it as a tool. Don't just trust your body to do the right thing in the wrong moment, basically. Do the right thing because you've practiced. Which, we do have drills. Hey, it's this guy again. We do have drills, 30% off in a parking lot. Have some fun. Non-issue on this one, really.
And that's exactly what we did.
Big cool dog. Here we go. Oh, hit a bump. Hit a bump, mess this up.
All right.
Probably hurt your junk a little bit. All right, here we go. We have the side of the vehicle pulling out, a little left turner. Good job with the progressive braking. Handled the situation. Yes, close call, but you kept yourself safe, so that's really important. Let's see if we can power through some of these. So Rohan's Sharma.
I need to keep a safe distance, especially when roads are this busy.
Yeah, they are pretty busy. So what he was talking about keeping the distance is keeping that good space cushion. You want to have a space cushion so that you can swerve, brake, whatever it is. Also, line of sight is probably blocked by the vehicle in front of you. And this is the concept right here. If you're super close to a vehicle, you see how hard it is to see around something? But if you're further from the vehicle, now the vehicle's smaller, it's much easier to see around something. So really important to maintain that space cushion. I get it, you're in congested traffic and everything. So part of that is putting yourself in a better position for safety. So right here, so now your line of sight is that versus line of sight is blocked by this vehicle. Okay? So just kind of move over to a different position if you can.
Important.
Now, these roads are a little bit different in the United States. There's some structure to it. It doesn't look like there's any structure here. This is also why you're covering your front brakes, just in case. Apply that good progressive braking. So almost hit by a car driving on the wrong side of the road. Same situation. What are we going to do? We're going to position for a new position for safety. Okay. Oh, just straight. It's a one-way road. I thought it was going to be in our lane. So just moved over. Not an issue. Here we go. A little noisy chain. That's fine. Oh, went into it a little bit quick and tried to apply the brakes so we didn't run into the... I mean, you had to layer down, right? All right, here we go. Oh, good job with the swerve last second. We're coming through here. That person's crossing into our lane, so we straighten the bike up. Basically going straight to the outside. We didn't really swerve right. We just went from turning left to going straight, going back to left. So very good job with that red stage maneuver. Got himself out of there. But then once you straighten it up, you have to get back into that turn. Because if you don't do that, you're going to go to the outside. So good job paying attention. Probably has dealt with this a few times. Has practice and life experience with it. So straighten up the bike. Back into the turn. Because if we stayed straight, which a lot of people panic and they stay straight and they look back and want to get pissed off at the driver. They stay straight and they're going to go like this. So as soon as he went straight, he's like, oh crap, I got to also now make the turn again. So roll off the throttle if you can. It's going to be scary, but got himself out of there. There we go. Going through his side of the vehicle right there. They're going to come into our lane. New position for safety. We're off on the left side of our lane. Let's go ahead and pass him up. Get ourselves out of there.
You mean the only number your phone has?
I just took a...
Okay. So I don't really care about road rage. Not too focused on that. That person is on the sidewalk. Interesting. Let's move on. C Moto Y. Your brightness on your video is really high. You might want to adjust that when you do your editing. Okay, so what happened there? Let's go ahead and briefly talk about that, because this is definitely a beginner skill issue. You should be able to make your turns. Let's go back to here. So we accelerated, and he accelerated straight. So part of the Smart Rider drills, a big part of it, big reason why we do them, and these are the easy ones right here, is that you are practicing your start from a stop, navigating with the turns, counterweighting, looking where you want to go, good friction zone and throttle control, because this right here is why you need to focus on that, because when you're starting from a stop at a stoplight or a stop sign or coming out of a driveway, you need to have good friction zone and throttle control. Turn that head where you want to go, turn the handlebars, and do some directional steering, get yourself out of there, and then give yourself some throttle at that point. So what happened here is he kind of did a lot of things backwards. Probably was looking straight, gave it throttle, and then started to look, but gave it too much throttle, and then went straight. So turn those handlebars, counterweight a little bit, give it a little bit of throttle, some friction zone, get yourself through there, and then go, okay? So definitely a beginner skill issue. And if this happens to you when you first start riding out on the road, take it back to the parking lot and practice. Take it back to the parking lot and practice. All right, going a little fast here, 112. This is probably miles per hour, 130. And there's the speed wobble. So once you get to these high speeds and you hit a small bump, your suspension is going to start doing this. It's going to cause this. So just slow it down. All right, Moto Gaga, she's in the chat, DDF crew member. So somebody came out, open lane pattern. We moved over. Husband's behind, so they're talking on their cardos saying, hey, I'm kind of stuck. It made her husband stuck. Okay. Good job maneuvering around that. Good swerve. So Yami from Miami. Mistakes were made. Ooh, almost hit that car. Almost hit that car. So we're going from the... That person probably creeped up in there. So it was probably a 1 lane. They were off on the left side of the lane. The car decided to creep up. Wasn't paying attention. Didn't see it in the peripheral vision. Almost did a nice, like a really nice tight turn. Almost hit this vehicle. Almost hit that person. Looks like they weren't following their GPS. Looks like the GPS says to turn left. And then it recalibrates. And it says he has to do a U-turn. All right, Motogaga once again in the chat. Okay, car passing everybody. Passing all of... It's pretty dangerous for a car to do that, but I mean, if they don't see anybody in there, perfectly fine. Nobody panics. That's great. You guys are all chatting, probably telling each other, look at this guy. Pay attention, watch out. Oh! What the heck happened there? Are we in our lane? Looks like we might have been in our lane, but got a little too close to that car. Maybe they switched over and our head just hit. It was a 10 motorcycle riding column, by the way. That's a lot of people. You got a lot of friends. That's cool. Probably switching our lanes, hit our head. So this definitely tells you the importance of wearing full gear. So being a smart rider, we have full gear, full face helmet, protected our forehead. If we hit our face, it would have protected our face. But imagine hitting that with a half helmet or 3/4 helmet or no helmet. Interesting that we just kind of slammed into him. All right, so Bryce Bauman, that's the name. All right, so anybody coming out, intersections, orange stage, watch out for left turners, apply the brakes, good job, handled it, moving on, saved himself. Yeah, close calls, but you know what? You applied good progressive brake pressure, you weren't speeding through it. So another side of the vehicle, they stopped, we were slowing down just in case, and now we're out of the situation, so good job. Locating that hazard and assessing. Watch out for anybody wanting to come into your lane. Good space cushion in front of you. You notice the line of sight. We're off to the side. We can see ahead of the black vehicle. We see that there's a white truck in front of them. We also have an escape path to the left if we need it. Let's see what happens here. I think the truck might come into our lane. There it is. And that worked. That worked. So thank you so much, Motostars, for putting out this video. Lots of good stuff. We actually had a different crew member in here. But grab yourself a donut. Get yourself out of this class. See me next Thursday. I'm sorry, probably next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time because I will be gone. But yeah, I'll see you guys later.